Nikso kuaukaak käännaukaak. Nistoakouk Makiinima. Kiamuksoukki mohkutuuks kääksi. Kitaaksi naps kuhpinnaanaamus. Nukanist suks skaatis pinnaanaamus. Nistis käännuk. Stamuktaapakkojo kiistunnuut käännä. Kiamuksaa käättäpiin nuhattu tuiksi ja äätsenaapu tekee. Kitumhkitapiin minnuun. Kiamuksen sai stuututama psiaamus. Käikänu pissen. Hakuhat siipuja. So maamata puhkanaa kia muoti kohkstaka tännaana. Spomikkitsta kia maksi puhuttu. Se oikein spomikkitsta.
Ajusti päätäpi. Aju kimma rukitaa, kimma piipitsitää, nuksikaksi kohsitaa, kenskaaki. Sisti kuiskaakin, noksisti maanopakkinnaanaakin. Annamata opis pinnaani kaaken kaakta muhtukanoh pinnaana kaaken. Aju kidaika kotenskatsumat pinnaanaakin. Anni kaakana suka piikaakin. Aju kimma tuukinnaanaakin anna kaakita sitä piiminnaanakaakin. Anna kaakita kotukanoh pinnaanakaakita kohkanista kotspumistah pinnaanikaakin. Annamata opis pinnaanikaakin. Ajo annesti kaakia kaika kaita pian kaaki kimmat kuin miksaakin anna kaakia sitä piiva kaaki taatsannaana kaaki. Ajo noks pummuokin naanaakin anna kaaki naatuita piiva kaaki anna kaaki umpahkinaawa kaaki anna kaaki pitää kiiva kaaki. Ajo kikai tohkanawa tuita piiva spoakin nikit sitä pohpuhai. Ajo noktuuts pummuokin naanaakin noks pummuokin nohkaeksim sitä tsuukin naanaakin. Ajo nohkai piikaa kennakaakia sitä piivakaakia koksista piputsimaa kennistikaakia toutsi puhaistikaakia. Ajo kimma tuusa vahkohkats kuunnoksia mahkats kiita pitapi sinäkiä. Ajo tuohpahkani poispinnaanaa kennakaakia vatsimuitskaavakaa kennakaakia vammatu simaavakaakia. Annikaa kiutapi sinä kestsiistä miikaa. Kännikki toopiikaa taasukina kiupikaa. Annakaa kimmata psivakaa. Aaju kimma piipitsit kimma tuukitaakin uks pummuukin naanaakin. Okei annikaa sitä vahkuun spinnaanaa. Annikaa kimmat sitä kumuistut suupikaa. Annikaa kitahkohkanaski taamitaa sapuki kahpinaa numma pinnaanistaakin. Ajo kimma tuossannakaaki, upukaasenakaaki, ajo kohks, uutsesta piitsimaaki, annikaa käsiimahpikaaki, annikaa käsitsipsatpikaa. Kiinni tuhkanoo kuspinnaanaaki. Jos suku spinna tohpukita paapiimana nukunnaani, tahkeitaa maskitsipinna nukunnaani. Ajo tahkohkaa istuukin naanaakin nakaakin nissuku sinnaanakaakin asiimannaanikin. Ajo kimma piipitsitaakin anna kansta pai uhsiskatu paakännikaakin uhtukanoh pinnaanikaakin. Ahkohka kaita piiaakin nikaakin niin istuukin naaniksakin. Annakaakin aika mutahpskaavakaakin. Annakaakin sitä piivakaakin. Kimma piipitsitää kännikaak. Niistä vatsimaani sopukitapi sinäksipäätäpi sinikaamutaan.
Muuksi ja mohkutuuks kääksi. Nyt sopuuksiissa tänään uutapi sinä. Oikein sahtoa kun katsik joupaa. Sahtoa kun kannistukaksi mahpinnaan niistunnaan ninäksi. Mahkukatsetsi stunniaappissani muhmani tuhmaanista täpkuispii käännä muistas makaapousukistaappista. Oukin apiokki, oukin esematsetsi makaapousissa. Nyt se sopuuksissa tänään aamuksi niinkskei aapouts mä innakiikueksi, äsukinakiiksi. Oukin aamuksi akka immiä ätsenaapuutakia. Se sopuuksissa tänään setskeinapskuukinnaan. Kennään nukanistsuksskaatsispinnaan. Nukanistsuksskaatsispinnaan niksukua. Oukin muuksi kun katsitsi niipui ja muuksi. mohkutuks kääks, ouki miksi taapouttakiks, ouki aamuksum kitappiks, ouki aamuksiks kei, stuuttutomapsi ja aamus niskei tukannupoppi, hakuhatsitsini puija. Ouki kää käätäpi maatattai, itä johtimivat saa mohkitsi puukseni niksu, kun ne taksaa piippui. The council and I send our greetings to everyone that is listening in. And of course, we will be informing you about the measures and decisions that we have made in combating the latest surge of the drug abuse crisis that continues to affect our people. We have sought recommendations from our key administrators and frontline workers on the actions that could be taken in curbing and alleviating the sale and use of those illegal and dangerous drugs. We are all aware of the increase in overdoses and deaths amongst our people resulting from the use of opioids and other harmful drugs. And we need to make the necessary decisions to reduce the harm that we are experiencing. We have made previous decisions regarding the trafficking and use of harmful drugs on our lands, and our administrators and frontline workers have responded to the best of their abilities. We commend the work that is being done towards treatment and recovery over the last few years. However, we will need to focus on preventing those dangerous drugs from reaching our lands and our people. We have utilized our own funds from various sources over the last few years towards alleviating the harm that our people have suffered as a result of drug abuse and dependency. We will again use our own source revenues in combating the resurgence of the drug abuse crisis, and we will also leverage those amounts in convincing other governments to help in our fight to save our people. We have set aside over $1 million initially towards two immediate matters that involves provisional funding for the police task force and the housing renovation program for restoring abandoned houses. We are acquiring more of our own funds through investment returns, and we should have a total of over $1.5 million by the end of April to begin with some of these new measures. Our Blood Tribe Police requires additional human and financial resources in combating the distribution and use of opioids and other harmful drugs within our lands and jurisdictions. Our police commission and acting police chief have developed a special task force that will focus entirely on preventing the sale and misuse of drugs and increasing the surveillance of trafficking activity on reserve lands. We will immediately provide some of our own source revenues provisionally to the police task force and engage with other funding sources in acquiring more funding. Some of the abandoned homes situated primarily in the town sites are being used for illegal drug purposes, and we will again utilize our own source revenues in renovating these houses so deserving homeless families can have adequate houses to live in. We will begin repairing an initial amount of houses and continue to rebuild as we negotiate with other governments towards additional funding. We will use the trespass law more diligently so that outside criminal sources can be apprehended, convicted, and or expelled from the reserve, and we may initiate a tribal Crime Stoppers program, more so by increasing rewards towards arrests and drug convictions. The drug abuse crisis has negatively affected our people, and we will again provide some of our own source revenues towards prevention and continue to support and negotiate for the other important programs respecting treatment and recovery. Many of our departments and our entities have been involved in treatment and counseling and prevention over the last few years, and we commend them. But we felt we needed to do more in preventing the trafficking of these dangerous drugs and preventing them from reaching our lands and our people. Thank you, and members of council will now inform you on more of the decisions towards the immediate and long-term plans to combat this unfortunate drug abuse crisis. So kinukanistukaanistuqaamuuksi morkutuuks so kaamuksi taapotekik so kaamuksi morkitapiiks Aguhatsini puia, o kan kaya no nokstakatana ito mo mahka, makitsini puis. Dorothy.
Okay, niksho ko anak chiste ko tsikskaika kimakpinuna kinaksabuyaps skatsi sinoni anak mo itakan ko tsitspum stahpinoni. Aksawat tatsahsi kitsitapi minonix kuku sinonix kitsaku sinonix armisnistis kayo sista pototsi biawag. Good afternoon to my fellow Kaina members, and today council is conveying a meeting and a message out to the members of our community to try and encourage those people that are participating in drug trafficking that have caused a lot of overdoses and a lot of fatalities. We have experienced, according to some of our statistics, only from one funeral home that we have lost 28 members in the last 6 weeks. And out of those 28, 25 of those were due to overdose fatalities. And that is an alarming number. The tribe had first declared a state of emergency, I believe it was 2013, in regards to opioids. We were very concerned at that time. We continue to be very concerned, and we've made numerous efforts to try and alleviate or minimize this problem at the very least. However, the rates are even more alarming today. And a lot of families are affected by this. I don't believe there's one single family on the reserve that has not been impacted by this. We all have our relatives that are addicted to opioids and the new drug that has been introduced to the reserve. There is also a lot of violence that is associated with drug trafficking that never used to be on the reserve. However, there's numerous problems that we are facing today, and we must all work together. We are at the point from council where we have to introduce some drastic measures to make every attempt to try and curb the drug trafficking that is leading to these deaths on the reserve. There are a lot of orphan children now because in most cases, single parents have died from the opioid crisis. Sometimes even both parents have died from the opioid crisis. So we have probably hundreds of children that are orphans. So we have a generation of orphans. And we have a lot of extended families that are now responsible for those opioid children. And the schools themselves in education are also trying to deal with the situation of trauma that a lot of these children have incurred and will continue to incur. So we are facing also a mental health crisis as well. We encourage the community members to utilize the crisis hotline to be able to assist us in curbing this problem. We as council cannot deal with this alone. There's enough responsibility to be able to take on by everybody, as parents, as elders, as community leaders, as educators, and as residents, as members of the tribe. We have to ensure that we all do our part. If you know of any drug traffickers, please use the crisis headline. If you have people in your households that are engaged in this activity, please do what you can to assist us in curbing it. And we need to try and assist those people that are addicted to this drug. And we hope that we'll be able to minimize it as soon as we can by all working together. Thank you.
Okay. Nokta inaps kopinana nokkichikos bin taaksikis morkotuukkis. Okay, nokatsi kiichispinna patamsko kamatu simanatsumu skanortuatspinna. Nokai ina nistupinna nokki tusiskunu kertuuts pommuis. Anokkamoi. Muksi utotsispia muks ohksistarpi. Ogiksiku. Ogstranaisinutsiopi. Ogmachi chitapiopi sortsini tuno hatrtaisinai. Ogdagohakitu titspo okamanistupinai kistoagi nokta jakortuutspo muutsispin. Ognuhatsinnopi muksina okois kaiksenokkischikoisko. Taortsina kuutiti itchini korpinnan kenukhanistukaksimarpinnan ognokhanistaakaakorturpinnan ogmaatitiititaokaksimarpinnan muksaappo takiiksi nokhnitammannan situmuippiannaana ogtaakenokhanistuk isukitsimstatorpinnaana tiks akhanista utiitsikkatorpi ogkaamksuustuataakstaksua ogmuksi the communities muksi the 3-4 communities. You know, we're always struck with the end result. And a lot of it has to do with evictions, muksi, the drug dealings, what's being affected. And what we don't realize is a lot of the offenses that occur and what we find. A lot of it is when we do find muksi nakiksu sapi the weapons, the drugs that are located right in the units. And in some cases, some hostage situations had occurred. And of course, the drug overdose. So this new drug that's been circulated now, this new it's not helping. It's not helping immediate. So with Chief and Council, we really looked at ways to combat this, but we need your help. The community, we need your help. I just wanted to add that we are combating with the homeless right now. And with their announcements, what Chief Roy had just mentioned, we're putting some money back into all those abandoned homes that were affected just through the evictions, in restoring, rehabbing these units so we can get these homeless people, those with children especially, back into their homes, into safe environment. There's more I'd like to say, but there'll be more announcements as for coming from Housing Department and Public Works and what we're doing to combat the situations as we are coming.
Kan okina kak no khaytuxtsmi Back in just before the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, Blood Tribe Health had committed to creating a continuum of care to combat the opioid crisis that we've been facing. So as a result of that, a detox program was started up, a medically monitored detox program. We've gotten a commitment from the province of Alberta to build a 75-bed treatment center, and that's in the works right now. I think they're going to be putting shovels in the ground this spring. There's also the transition home that we've been working with to provide some kind of transition for the people once they come out of treatment. Now, the detox can be anywhere up to a year. Same with treatment, that can also be up to a year. Drugs are a totally different thing as compared to alcohol. And we're continuing work on this. It had been once COVID hit us, and there was a state of local emergency in regard to the COVID pandemic. The drug crisis was kind of put on the back burner. We continued to work on it, and we're still continuing efforts. Now we realize that we don't just have to have a continuum of care from detox back to transition back to the community. We also need to have skills built for people. We need jobs for people so that people have hope in their lives to move forward. And we also need prevention. We need a lot of prevention. And with this statement that we've made to reaffirm the state of local emergency in regard to the drug epidemic, we hope that each of the departments are going to take it upon themselves to really keep, do whatever we can to prevent the opioid crisis from taking more lives. Now I'm going to turn it over to Derrick Fox, the CEO of Health, and he'll give you more detail on the work that we've been doing in health.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Derrick Fox. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Blood Tribe Department of Health. Thank you, Chief and Council. Thank you for the continued support. Again, Martin alluded to the addictions framework that Blood Tribe Department of Health was basically given the task from our Chief and Council to look at the gaps in the community in relation to the continuum of care of members seeking their recovery journey, as far as Martin alluded to the detox center, treatment facilities, aftercare support. So in the beginning of the year of 2018, Blood Tribe Chief and Council reaffirmed the local state of emergency, basically in relation to the addictions and mental health crisis that we have been facing. So at that point, in partnership with the Alberta Health Services, Blood Tribe Department of Health, we had individuals tasked with community engagements to seek what are those gaps in the community, what are those resources and supports that we have currently. From there, we were able to identify that a detox center was needed. That's when we created the Bringing the Spirit Home program, again, supporting members that are seeking further support in their journey to recovery. At that point, we opened 8 beds. Moving forward, we quickly utilized all 8 beds. Within a year, we were operating 24 beds. At this point, we have a huge wait list. So moving forward in the summer of 2020, the Alberta government had announced the support for a 75-bed therapeutic recovery center on the Blood Tribe Nation. So we are currently, as Martin alluded to, we are currently ready to begin the construction phase with the support from Chief and Council, our Board of Health. Thank you in helping members. And again, this is also to support the Healing Lodge. We know that at times members need more than that standard time of treatment. Members can be in the recovery center for up to a year. And it's also, too, about seeking further training, employment opportunities in the recovery journey. With that, again, it is about helping members transitioning, reintroducing back into the community with the supports from the Kainai Transition Society as well. So again, really focused on that support, but we know we're a little bit of time out from that 75 beds completion. So again, with the support from the province and Blood Tribe Council and with Blood Tribe Health, we are repurposing the COVID isolation units that were basically granted to the tribe during the COVID pandemic, and we are now repurposing those for post-detox pre-treatment supports for members. So we've been approved for up to 20 further spaces. So we're really looking at reducing the wait list at the Bringing the Spirit Home Detox Center to help members further seek that support. And again, this support is with us for 3 years right now. So knowing that at that time, our 75-bed therapeutic recovery community would have been completed. So again, in the meantime, we're looking at repurposing the isolation units for that post-detox support, as many members are needing. And also in relation to that, we know that during the COVID pandemic, huge health measures were invoked on all of us. So with that, treatment facilities were limited based on health measures in receiving some of our members seeking support for treatment. So again, during that time, our wellness program created what we call today a day treatment program, supporting members that cannot leave home for various reasons that needed that support. So every Thursdays, there is a day treatment session for all members. And again, since the inception, we've had over 60 sessions with hundreds of members seeking that support. So moving forward, that's something that will continue on in relation to the further supports in the community. As well, during the COVID pandemic, our non-insured health benefits had been providing the opioid agonist therapy, where again, members that are utilizing basically prescribed medication to support their addiction and mental health challenges. To date, basically the team provides to over 400 clients that opioid agonist therapy in the community. Many supports we're looking at continuing on, and other innovative ideas that we can find. So, moving forward, we will continue to support our Blood Tribe Chief and Council in whatever we do. Just want to take this time to thank our Blood Tribe Chief and Council from Makiinima and all of our councillors and the support for myself, the Board of Health, and the confidence in the team we provide, in the supports the team provides, as well as the province of Alberta in the partnership in helping us in our members' recovery journey, and with those further resource supports, as well as First Nations Inuit Health Branch helping us as far as the response to the challenges throughout these last few years. Moving forward. And again, as we come up with further innovations and ideas, we will further update our community. With that, just want to say thank you. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Manamo Bisaki. I'm the Housing Director, Rachel Tailfeathers. I just want to acknowledge and thank this support of Chief and Council in regards to acknowledging the vacant and abandoned units. The vacant and abandoned units with the social issues have increased, as you could see in the communities. In the rural alone, we're at 100 plus in the vacant and abandoned units. So with the support right now, acknowledged with Chief and Council, we will be moving forward with the 20 units in the standoff community, and then we'll be moving forward once the announcements are made by Chief and Council. Again, housing is networking, and identifying the gaps in regards to prevention and aftercare of the unit with the family members that are affected. So housing has been working with other departments such as social services, children's services, and health in regards to the unit with the families within the unit. Again, thank you, Chief and Council, for this support for the Blood Tribe Housing Program.
Okay. Gayamstinima. Git kun itsimotsim. Okay, Makiinima. Okay, Muti. Gaarsin nonit. Mohkutuiski. So okay, Mamutsi, Retsip Stopia. Rettes pumpstai. Organiuti tapo the gitsi tunno. O kitikti takakan kaki tisikwe kaki ma itina min nona ani utokakstiman ani kaki akita pakata pian kaki kitiskin nona atsai kikaita pisamit sti muhka gamus makap samista kaki stais mitsi ochsita pokinitsi atsit Joka kinitsi äsimiitsa. Kenkä keittää kunaisinot. Itä pikskinja. Okiamu ka inna Kiina ka ki aktsina ki puja ka kustoa mansta niske taaktu puaka. Hello, everybody. My name is Travis Plaited here, and I'm honored to be sitting here and give a few words of encouragement to our community here on the Blood Tribe. As you know, we've all been faced with this pandemic. I remember back in 2013-14 when we first declared a state of emergency with the council of the time, and I was fortunate enough to have been a part of that. And we did a lot of good work, and the work continues. And as Martin mentioned, due to the the COVID crisis, it's kind of went off to the side there. But in recent weeks, as you all know, I've attended way too many funerals in the last few months, and just to the point where I had to take a little bit of a break. And I do sit on the police commission, and we're well aware of the trafficking of the illicit drugs that are coming onto the reserve. I have Grant Buckskin here, who is our acting police chief with the Blood Tribe Police, and he'll be giving us an update on what he and Blood Tribe Police have put initiative together. But I would just also like to encourage some of our councilmen here. We're very involved in the community. We attend a lot of the community meetings, both here in Standoff, Old Agency, Moses Lake, and Laverne. And we also attend as many community activities as we can. And we want you to know that we are well aware of the tremendous task that's here. We have been fighting it for a long, long time. And in the last little while, it just seems to have gotten really, really bad. You heard from our health department. They're doing an excellent job. But I would like to encourage all of the directors to do what you can. I'm sure after this meeting here, we're going to be putting next steps forward on how exactly we're going to get organized and bring everybody together. But I know from the community's perspective, we meet very regularly with Laverne and the different communities. And one of my main concerns are our young people, the little ones. There's a lot of children out there that are not in a very good place, and we need to ensure that they are taken care of. So we want to look at prevention. And I always say to my own family that we need to break the cycle. Just speaking from my personal experience with addictions, I ended it back in 2013 when I had the privilege of serving our tribe at Kukats. And I made a vow to my family then that they would never see alcohol in my house. And to this day, thank God, I've kept up with that vow. I have my youngest grandchildren are 4 and 6. They have never seen alcohol in my house. And I try to encourage the rest of my families to follow suit. And some have, but we need to make it a complete effort from all tribal members to ensure that our children are in a safe place. And eventually, through time and prayer, we will get to a good place. So that's all I had to share this morning. Right now, I'm going to allow our Chief of Police, Grant Buckskin, to give us an update on the task force that he has put together. And I just want to also acknowledge when we met all the entities and departments a few weeks ago, Makiinima called a meeting, and we invited all the directors. And one of the main purpose was to basically ask the departments and entities, what are you doing, what's in place, and what can you do moving forward to fight this drug addictions. And I was very proud to hear our Chief of Police, they had already enacted the task force and we're working towards it. So with the announcement today, there'll be a little more money put towards that, and hopefully that will help alleviate some of that. My main target are the drug dealers. I think we really need to focus on the trafficking and stop it from coming in on a reserve. And I know through Chief and Council, we have ways, as Makiinima said, there are ways we can do it and implement. But right now, I'll hand the mic over to Grant. Okay, Napi.
Thank you, Travis. Okay, my name is Grant Buckskin. I'm the Acting Chief of Police for Blood Tribe Police Service. Like Travis stated earlier, when we went to these meetings initially a couple months ago, we were asked what we were going to do what each department was going to do on their part to help assist with this. And it was at that time I met with my management team and we made the decision to start a task force. Now, when we first brought that up, we looked at the cost, and the cost compared to what we were going to do, there was no question we were going to do it. The funds that are being provided to us now by our leadership, and I appreciate it, is gonna go a long ways to helping us combat this. For longest time we do a lot of our work kind of in the shadows and quietly, but with this one, make no mistake, I mean, we're coming. This has gone on way too long. We're not hiding. We're not going to be sneaky about it. We're coming, and this is our part to help the reserve. And I'm hoping this isn't going to. I myself, ideally, this isn't going to be a 2, 3 months, 6 month project. No, I think this is something that needs to be sustained until we reach a point within our community where we've healed enough and we can deal with that without having to go with such strong enforcement. Thanks.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank our elder for the opening prayer. You've heard, our chief, some of our councillors, as well as some of the directors speak. One of the things, too, that we are really concerned, and I think it's really important, that we provide safety in each of the communities. Now, I think we've been hit with this crisis far too long, and I think it's hit everyone in our community. One way or another, we're all affected. We have members that continue to deal with this issue. We have family members that are out there on the reserve as well as off reserve as well, too. We all know who's out there, and I think it's really important that we work together. We reach out to our family members and provide and encourage them that this is really affecting our community. I think we also have to look at our younger generation as well, too, because they see what's going on in our community. And I think that's what the departments and entities are really working hard to look at long-term solution. As we speak now, you've heard our chief of police talk about safety and the violence that's out there in our community. But council and the directors and departments and community reps that are here with us as well, too, are looking at the long term. I think it's important that we provide safer communities. And I think a lot of our community members have said they want our community back. We need to deal with the issue that's before us. I'm hoping at the end of the day that everyone in our community continue to support us and work closely with us and provide some options and solutions as we move forward. Council can provide the support and the financial resources, but we need everybody to come together to provide a safer and healthier community. And this is what it's all about. We know, and I know for a fact that we can do it. I've heard, from other tribes and other reserves how they look towards us as taking the lead. And I think it's important as community members that we all work together and we step up and take this challenge. And it's really important if we want to build our community. And I've always talked about building a stronger foundation, which means, working together, building our community. And it starts right in our backyard as well, too. As parents, as a grandfather, we're all concerned about our kids' well-being, and it's really affected a lot of us there. So I'm reaching out again, and I'll continue to talk to members of the community to deal with the issue and talk to your loved ones. I'm really proud of all the directors that are here and continue to provide solutions and work together. And I'm also proud of Makiinima. I know every night my wife and I would talk about it, and it is really a stressful event and issue that we're all dealing with. At times I feel like, what more can we do? So I believe we're reaching out to you as community members, as directors, as elders, that we all do our part. And let's build a safer community. And I want to thank all your input. I know that there's been a lot of good work from the departments, from health to police department, children's services, FCSS, and all the departments that are out there that we've worked closely. I know that they have a lot of good solutions and answers on how we can continue to battle this issue. It's nothing new. It's been with us for a few years. Like Martin and a few others had mentioned, we had declared the state of emergency a few years ago, and now we're back at the table. But this drug that's out there is far dangerous, and it's killing a lot of our younger people. And I think it's time that we, as a community members, need to wake up and address that and talk to our loved ones and encourage them. But as well, too, I think we need to rely on prayers as well, too. So that's all I have to say, and I want to thank all of you for listening and giving us that opportunity, and we need your help as well. Thank you.
Okay, Nitaniko Ito Mendimaki.
I thank you all for listening to the session here today. I thank our elders our department members, and including our community committee reps that are here as well, and as well, Chief and Council. As we all know, the opioid crisis has had a detrimental effect on our community. We've had an increase in orphaned children, not only orphaned children, but orphaned young adults. This trauma that we're experiencing will have negative effect years after today. We look at, in 1 year, April 1st to March 31st, the number of losses that our community has felt, the effects far outweigh what we should be addressing, I guess, at this time. But because of the opioid crisis, we've had, again, the orphan children. We've had to address budgets, looking at increasing services for our community members who have been hit very hard by this drug. We look at the funeral costs, and we are, in 1 year, I guess it'll be safe to say that we've hit well over 100 losses, and many of those were from opioids. We have a lot of wraparound services. You've heard some of the speakers here talk about some of those services. We've had to increase shelters, the detox treatment centers, 75-bed unit, and still we are looking at gaps in services. I thank the departments and the entities for their hard work to help address this crisis. But we look to the community for the support. We have community reps who are working hard with some of the departments to provide programming and services in the evenings to help build a stronger and healthy community. We thank our elders, our community, in looking at our programming going forward. We also look at our traditional ways of doing, our language, culture, our history is very important in providing those accountings, those teachings to our children, to our young people. We know that our ways work. And at this point, I'd like to also acknowledge our elders. We are here because of our ancestors and their vision for its people. And we must do the same and look to our community for support in building a healthy community. I thank you, and again, we need your support. Thank you.
Okay, Nidanako Piinaakoyim. First of all, I just want to send out my sincere condolences and prayers to all of the families in the past few years that have lost loved ones to this opiate crisis. I'd like to thank our elder earlier for opening up with a prayer. I believe our Elders Declaration, Gana at Sydney, was made in 1995. With anything that we do, we follow that declaration. We start off with a prayer, and that's our ways. So it's important. I want to encourage our people as much as possible to help us. We need everybody's input. Whether you call one of the chief and council members or one of the staff members, the directors, and give your input. There's no wrong answers to this. We need to be able to get the whole tribe's support in moving forward, and to this point that we are at now. We should be able to I know we're going to beat this. We could overcome this. I've been thinking about, I heard Wilton say this quite a few years ago, and I've actually been living by this saying. When you know who you are, where you come from, your language, your stories, your songs, you'll be so full of yourself that you wouldn't want to hurt yourself or anyone else with drugs, alcohol, or violence. And I believe that to be true. And so I think it's important. We've right now there's immediate action that's going to take place. Not too long, we're going to be coming back together again and giving some more recommendations to move forward. And so I think we need to be able to give some strong input, some positive input, to really encourage each other. And I've heard of all these programs in terms of the Western way of helping our people. It's good. I believe we need to focus on our own ways too. I know of one of our members about a year and a half ago made a vow to dance at a cookout, and they did. And a year and a half ago today, they're still sober. They're raising their family, and so there's these kind of things that we can look at too, in helping ourselves. And so I want to again encourage all of our people to really help all of us. I want to thank our directors, our frontline staff that have really stepped up these past few years, and especially through a pandemic, to be able to really help to try make things better. And to all of our society members, to all of our people that are praying every single day. The prayers are helping. We need to be able to continue this for the betterment of all of Ghana. And I know it's not just us, but we need to continue with helping and encouraging everybody, not only here, but through Six Gates, it to be through the Confederacy. And so I'm again, I just want to encourage our people as much as possible to really help us to move this in a good direction. And again, I'd like to thank Makiinima and all of council to be able to gather and make this state of emergency. There's some good things that are going to happen right now, and I know there's going to be more things that are going to happen in the near future. Thank you.
Okja. Hiksuksi puiniksi mohotuki kina sinäminnään Makiinima. To add on to what's been said now, the initiatives are on the table now. Kistundan, we're going to push them through different programs, through funding to get these things rolling. This is an immediate initiative we're going to do. We do have long-term program we want to implement within the future. We have bylaws we want to implement. We have a bylaw officer we'd like to start going, and we have our tribal government working along with other departments to try and get that going. And I think that's really vital, because it'll give us that punch we need to move forward, and we can start getting authoritative with our rules and regulations here on the reserve. So with that being said, to move forward, the call is out to Kistua to step up and start to make your community a safe place to be, starting in your home, your backyards, especially with the
the epidemic, how we're bringing in people coming in. Some of the homes are harboring some of these individuals, and there's programs here now that we can utilize and move forward. So let's work together, listen to our leadership, our directors, and move forward. That's why we're here. We're here to listen to Kistoa. Whatever your concerns are, we're here and we're moving. And that's what we've been doing. We've been listening to Kistoa. We're working hard as a team. We work hard with our departments and our frontline workers, a network that's starting to work the way we need it to. We're working closely with our community committees, making sure that we're hearing everything that's happening within the community so we can target those things and move forward. And that's the way things are going to work out. We're going to iron things out. So sumiga kimat. Yes, so giniksig kita pigs. Those are the ones we have to respect. Their job is to teach our young people not to be taking care of the kids. That's not their job anymore. They're at a point where they have to rest and move forward. So if we can move forward on that and sukspumusua, help our people out the way we're supposed to be. And listen, we have all the programs in place from B-Test all the way to ECDEV to all the other departments to place you guys where you need to be. Trainings are all there too. So sumiga kimat. Yan.
Okay, niksu kwam. Tani ko. Hiksuka biamo tate puyos. Saksa people, for our younger people, it's about time we get our communities back. We need the safety of our young children to be able to go out there. Now you see we're all in silos where no one's going out anymore because of what's being faced out there. We, as people, we need the help of our communities. Our members out there, you need to help us, because we don't have all the answers, but we can if we work as one, I think we can go a long way. Starting today, we're going to implement a lot of things, and we need your support. We need people to be out there to help us, and whatever we may do, we got to do it as a team. Not one individual could oversee all of this. And look at the table we have here. All our departments, entities, our workers here, our frontline workers. We all need each other, and we're going to have the resources to help each other and just to continue supporting. Our communities are on our tables now. Our elders, thank you for the prayer, and those are important. We got to listen. We got to start listening and acting on what we need to do for the future of our community, because we've lost a lot of young people. I went to a memorial Matundi, and there's a lot of beautiful people that we have gone on, and it broke my heart. And I was one of them that lost a son, and it's what can I do? It's what we can do. You can't put it on one individual. We need to all work together, continue. There's support programs out there through Red Crow College, through the B-Test, the training, what Rampa has alluded to. There's a lot of programs out there for people that want it, treatment centers that are going to open up their doors, and, aftercare. We have all of these in place so we can help each other. Don't be afraid to reach out to us, because, we need to be there for you. And we need to help each other, So in the end, it's, let's get our community back. It's about time we got our community back, because we need to all work together. And I think as one, and we will do that. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're seeing it now. We're all working together, and we're going to continue working together. Not one is going to be doing something. We have to all We have to all do it as one, so that way we can get things done. So with that, remember, prayer is an important part of our lives. Whether it's through the Christianity or through our traditional ways, it's always praying. That's what has gotten me through a lot of things, and I believe our people, they reach out when we're in hard times. And right now we're going through some hard times. And I've been going through a lot of, sad events, but, they need us. So one day we're going to overcome this, and we will. So I see the future is now. We can't wait anymore. We got to all attack this and we will, and we are, and with all the Makiinima, all the initiatives that we have, we're going to start them today with this announcement that, but remember, Gana, we need your support. We need each other, so that way we can overcome this. And so with that, God bless everybody here. Makuachimo and support one another, love one another. Han.
Okay, Niksok. Utapis. Gana. Xmats noch pan xistikuya kak. Og zikutaxi de kotaipu yo pianuans. Amitu tapi kuikak. Og taksapi puyam akatapi matay tohtsimi. So no nachaneku Piinaakoyim. My name is Floyd Bighead. It's a real pleasure to be able to address our people here today with the current pandemic we are going through. We have been going through this. It's a reality that we have to step up and face head on. Continue this fight. Let's not give up on our people. My goal is that we can all unite as one nation. We are all together in this, and I believe that with lots of love, affection, we can hopefully change our people in their ways of thinking. How can we do that? I've spent a lot of nights thinking about what we are doing, what more can we do, and how can we beat this opioid addiction. All of us have experienced a lot of losses, many losses, including my family, siblings, children, nephews, nieces, tatsai. My belief is that we show an example, show a good example of how we can able to beat this. Pulling together will make us stronger. From leadership point, one of the things that I am looking at is the idle time that we have for our people. Our current council, we've got a lot of projects that are coming up, and I encourage our younger generation to sign up for these programs, because there's going to be a lot of projects that are going to be going on in the next couple of years, including a brand new hockey rink. We're building on our infrastructure for more sites for buildings, house lots. And a lot of these, there's going to be a lot of work, especially for construction. We've got a brand new college that's going to start up a trade school program where there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to get ahead. Not only on the construction side, but also we need people I encourage them take part in programming, especially for our youth. If we can put together programs, come up with ideas in your own communities, how you can pull our people together and create these programs, helping each other. Our younger generation needs the support of us as leaders, as our families, head of families. Now is the time that we step up and start making our reserve better. Akakim mutsiyop. Ikakimak. Niksu kwaks. Anyats kunatap soki. Mkhatkanaut. Kabukkan hoki panuan stap as soap. Akitumut Kanya wix kunataps. Musi mi tukanuya muksi mi umakuyis. Waksu tapis niksi nohkits tapiksaki. Hapuch samukia kistunnan anyan stap as soap. We've got treatment centers. We've got care centers. We've got transition. We've got all the opportunities for these people to get help. And we've got all the professional help here on the reserve. We can build a stronger community. But we need to unite. Put away all the negativity. Don't look upon the people that are using, because they are still our people. Let's treat them with kindness, treat them with respect, and then maybe they will know that life is worth living. This is a deadly disease, and I know because I felt it, and it hurts every time I see an obituary. I know most of the age groups are like under 30 years old, far too early to end a life. So let's just keep going, unite as a community, unite our whole reservation, help each other. Let's not leave anybody out. Let's beat this. Thank you.
Okay, Niksukwa, Nastuanakok Piinaakoyim. You know, I think we're faced with a huge issue here, and I know that we won't be able to solve it overnight. But I have a good feeling that all of us working together will be able to mitigate a lot of these issues. We've all been affected. I think every one of us, our family, have been affected. But when I see everybody in this room, I know that it's things are going to change, and we need to start working together. When we called these, or Makiinima called these meetings about 3 weeks ago, where we decided to work with all the directors and kind of put all the cards on the table and see how we could work together to mitigate some of these issues. And one of the first things that came up was prevention with our youth and with our young people. It's really important that we provide them with a safe and healthy environment and things to do in their free time. So I think that's really where it starts. Is we need to talk about prevention with our kids and preventing trauma in the households as well. I think it's really important that children have a safe place to be, and they have things to do during the day. And we have all these treatment facilities, and we're working towards all these long-term goals. But really, I think what we need from community is that we're reaching out to you now that we need your help. We need you to report to Crime Stoppers what's happening in the community. We need to hear from our community reps, because they know what's going on in the communities, and we don't know unless somebody informs us. So we want you to know that we're making this commitment as council, as our chief has made this commitment that we're going to work towards bettering our communities and giving our children a safe place to be, and providing options for people that are coming out of treatment, that they have the ability to get training, go to work, go to school, all of these things to better their lives, that there's hope in the end of this. I'll tell you a story about one young man. We had an emergency shelter in Lethbridge 1 or 2 years ago, and it was freezing cold. It was minus 40, and this young guy, he was a promising hockey player in his younger years, and I met him there. I was there with the people, and he told me, he said, I really want to find treatment, and we talked throughout the night, and sure enough, that next morning we got him into detox. He went to detox treatment, but I made him a promise before he went to detox, and I told him that, if when you're done all of this, come back to me. Here's my number. Give me a call, and we'll get you working. So he completed all his steps, and then I got a call shortly after that, and he said, I'm ready to work. So we got him to work. He was working with St. Mary's Construction. We have a lot of projects that are upcoming, but that was just one of those success stories, and all it took was just giving somebody a shot. So, over the past year, we've had over 100,000 man hours from GANA members on our different projects. Over 185 jobs created. So there is opportunities in the community, as well as going to post-secondary. Now we have the new Red Crow College, and I know a lot of people are excited to go there. So I just encourage community members to step up and help us do this important work to help our people moving forward and to keep them safe, to keep our communities safe. We really need you now, and our police force needs you. They need to hear from you. So I thank everybody that's here in this room today for stepping up and taking this initiative. We hear you. You have council support. We need your help now, and our community needs your help, and our children need your help. Ken.
Oki Nikshokoa. Hello, my relatives. Nistokoki Domsaugatsi. My name is Diandra Bruised. Get ganakana timpbo wow. Anum gi dauksanun. It's very nice to be with you all here today in God's country. You've heard my fellow councillors, you've heard from our department leaders, the initiatives that Chief and Council of the Blood Tribe will be putting into place after today. This comes from 2014, from when we first were hit with the opioids pandemic, but also it comes from before that. The history of Blackfoot people has been very, very rough. It's been difficult. Why are we here today in the society and the system in which we live? Well, Sixagates to be the Blackfoot people, our chiefs, they had to allow the Northwest Mounted Police into our area, into our Blackfoot territory, to fight off the whiskey traders, to combat the whiskey traders. Our people, something allowed them, these people in. They didn't want us on our own land. And so that's why our Blackfoot leaders allowed in the police. But here we are again today, again asking the police for help, asking for other governments for help for this community crisis. Where did it really begin? Maybe they're individual stories, maybe they're part of society, part of our culture. But either way, you have heard us beg and plead you to help us. We need every single one of you. What does that look like, though? What does that look like where we need you? To our elders, we need you. Your grandbabies need you. The language, Nitsipoksin, what we speak, needs you. When we go back to our creation stories, what made us? And it was that breath of life from Creator blown into our clay bodies. And that is why what we speak is so holy. What comes out of our mouths is holy. Creator hears that. And so when we use our bad words, when we use negative words, admonish our young people, tease them, bully them, well, of course, that hurts us to the core. That hurts every single one of us to the core. And it shows how turned away we are from our Blackfoot values. To our not so elderly elders, we still need you to keep trying. We need you to keep learning. Thank you. Thank you for trying. Thank you for being there. For those who have been afflicted with this disease, who have been afflicted with addiction and have decided to break that cycle, however you decided it, thank you. You're showing all of us that hope. You're showing all of us that it can be done. You are our teachers. To those who are my age, we need you. We need you to learn. Mogakit. It's a Blackfoot value, and it means to learn. And we hear that in this, Western education, learn your math, learn your English. But learn from our mistakes. Learn from our history. Learn, observe, watch, use all your senses, have that situational awareness. when there's those early signs, and those who are my age, we're all parents, aunties, uncles, cousins. When we see those signs in those younger people, catch it. And thank you for those who are so willing to share your stories. For those who are teenagers, are young adults, it's a rough world. There's no sugarcoating it, and you see it in social media. You see it on TikTok, Instagram, everything. We try and hide it behind our designer clothes. We try and hide it behind nice Instagram photos, everyone's smiling. But as soon as that camera turns off, what kind of conversations are you having really with your friends and with your peers? I encourage you young people to practice good habits. What does that look like? Slow down. You're going to get to a certain age. You're going to get there, but slow down. Take care of yourself. What is healthy for you? What really, really helps you? And in that, what really, really helps you and your family and your loved ones? Is it really doing bad? Is it bullying? Or is it helping yourself? Physical activity, healthy eating, doing good deeds, doing good things for people. Even just saying hello and helping our elders. And to our little babies and to our youth, we need you. We need you. We need you to have hope. And how are we going to afford hope? How are we going to give that to our little babies? Thank you. We do that by living good lives. We do that by being happy. And it's possible. It's so possible to be happy despite this. And so when you have a happy life and a healthy life and you do good for your family, you make sure your family's taken care of just so that those little people can keep playing outside. So that those little people, our little children, can keep learning. So thank you so much for listening and really have hope. It looks rough, but we're going to get there. We got out of the Ice Age. We got out of colonization. We got out of all of it. We're still here. Because of what? Well, go to your older people. What did they believe in? Was it the Blackfoot ways? Is it Christianity? Is it other spiritual ways? What helps your family and build on each other and help each other? Thank you.
Stoaps mohkutuks kaks. Se konaika kimarpinanaks pum ukatuxnan. Mukaksestapi aksestapi pokastupa. Saippumapi. Akhutsistutsi. Meeksom kitapiksi asatipsakkia. Oke kenniksa nuqattaikahkiminnukia. Ikaikahkiminnukia. Akumanistaaikahkimaus. Oke muukse nuqattu tue muukse stuututamaapsiiksi meestse kanitapiskuist. Kimaaksa oksi puissua. Han. I kastakata e mokse ki topakita piiminnuunik sau kiumoka anoki spommo kiu tatsumu iskaan. Onkin no hatsepstaappiot kuuksikinäkin. Sno matapuunik se mataakutuit sikatsio. Aha kuskiliuaks. Nikä sauhuttuman sitä. Se onkin muksi tuoja. No kristseو kaikki kitäkit supuja meistä matsu kaikki kitäkit siinä pskukua. Hän ei niitä päässyt. Amistsi kanita piskuista. Seuka kako.
Okei, stuni taniko na tohkitupi. Robert Healy. I sit as the president for the Laverne Committee, and with myself, I just want to give you guys a little, if it's okay, I'd like to introduce a guy that I took in, you know, and today it's almost 2 years, and I wish you guys can hear his story. That's why I brought him. He's part of my committee now. He's one of our reps. And I'd like to introduce Cory.
Okay. Okay, na tukoam. Stuni taniko kinamachka. Hello, my friends. This is an honor to be sitting here in the Chief and Council chambers, and feels very good to be here today. I've never expected to be sitting here in the seat here, but it's an honor, and I'd like to share my story. I am a recovering addict. I was an addict for 6 years. I was an addict to fentanyl, heroin, DMT, PCP. No, I've pretty much done everything. That was a life I don't wish upon anybody. But today I'm glad I'm here. It was a rough ride, rough road. It was bad. I seen so much, and I want to be an advocate for this. I want to help my people. I want to help my brothers and sisters I walked with on the streets. I walked for 2 years, homeless. I never thought I'd ever come to that point in my life. And now I know what rock bottom feels like. Like I was eating out of trash cans, sleeping anywhere, stealing, lying. No, this drug destroyed me, destroyed my life, destroyed my family. So I came to a point in my life where I realized I can't do this anymore. It was this or death. And I want to live, I want to be here. I want to be with my kids. I want my kids back. I was a single father for 16 years. I raised 3 beautiful girls all by myself. Nobody would support me, just myself and my dad. No, I love that life, and I want to go back to it. That's what I miss. I want my girls back. I want a home, and I know I can do it. I'm here, and I'd like to thank Bob Healy. He's the guy that took me in. If it wasn't that, I wasn't going to go back to the streets. But he was the guy that told me, come to my house and I'll help you. And he did. And I'm still here today, and I'm proud of, the people that have supported me. The Creator, he was the main guy that brought me here. It started when I was in jail, and I began my recovery. I was a skeptic. I never believed in, the Creator. And then one night, for some reason, I sat up and I was just started crying. And then something just told me, get on your knees and cry and pray. So I did. I cried and prayed. And You know, it was an enlightenment for me. So, you know, the main person I want to thank was an RCMP. He picked me up. I went to jail, and, you know, that's where it started. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have died. So now I want to be an advocate for this. You know, I want to help and support everybody. You know, I want to get this thing. You know, it's a horrible life. The thing these people need are support. Family members are turning their backs on us. You don't do that to them. Help them. Support them. I know it's hard. One thing is you never give up on them. My dad never gave up on me. I respect that. I owe a lot to my dad. Wasn't for him, wasn't for Bob, the creator, I wouldn't be here. So I thank you guys all for allowing me to be here, you know, and I want to be here to continue helping, you know, any way I can, you know, share my stories with everybody and, you know, and continue my journey. I'm hoping in September I'm going to start school and go do my counseling. I want to get into drug and alcohol counseling and help my brothers and sisters who are suffering out there. Thank you.
Okay, nitsiskuan. Nistoni ni mukhanikko naapskut kistekaanaapskaan. Kautitskissippusteititsitspi naapskorkanakkaatsis. Taiga kohtsapa puahka naarsa saatsakiaksinammuniisi. Utekstatatini takinorkni tammu korsene mo kinniinaamnuak morkutuutsukin haamoi wattaatstuuma. Istitsewan orkamorqakorkitsiistuna pissinimuqousuqstistaa piss manistutistutuarpianu kaanna sitikait tapiu kiuaatappi istoqannaissinjaaya kan orke muipiutsia tikstannatortarsi takan orqaamussan orkitsinaaminnuunitsan orku utunnissauutiikursinjan rakaistappai kita sitä piiminnuunit avatsarpit. Heittää pakäätäpi. Mutta sitä puhumakui sekakistuukiatuitsikuitsut tammukuuniskei. Pitsokuiskaatsi tsiippuja. Iteni muhkiaksteitu tohkanohpa. Kikaki potskiksi. Kikiakita. Nistoista mannissit semmoista, mi naapyöistä okuiskaa sen jääkutukanu ja mi maani pitää mä soman. Et sua ajohtsimsin, niin mä tästä. Teitu tohsenääni jo kuista piukkaks. Mi tiskada, että se voi johon taapsaa tsiipiskaakuka naapi. Sitten tässä pui noi misti tohka naapi. Naatsohtsi. Henni meitsi tuuttaa mitsi. Tänne sitä aina nuutsi. Käännu aakukanu aukuu. Ja niin mä etsi passaat. Sukit sinne vaamu. Opioid Crisis Community Meeting. On nichts niistä paapi. Mä etän you at the right place. Sitä mitsep ja meki. Tei muipiutsi no Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC. Kano muipan. Hannin niistä paapi. Makitsiittumanistska taksa mahukanista kuisiistuna pispi kemuustis kousustista piskistä astuti pissino tsahkoi. Ekstannat sukapi eikä käytäpi jiimakkiit sano käännauan kaamusten kiitsistä kistäspummo pitsmuutis maksaa kaatuissa taatstutsiissa aortiska se tuopio ekstraakki ei kiimakki. Kibetse tabata pepo ja amonestonna amo täkispinnan ja amo satakukikispinnan muuta puanistsia. Se mikä kaajohki, no naatsohtiin stotsi johki, mikä takia itsakoa puippui, täkin pitänistä ja Akagi just type it, it's package, it's about to do about it. It's just that kids today, poor, takes to a guess people, poor, it's psychosis. Sagihagi to just a pitch, psychosis. Chitawan is that, the gas can is to plain and simple. And man is that passes, Piahokan is to come out of Picato, Pisa, Cato, P. Muka, Sinots. Nog sexten dat ze niet, dat je nog niet allemaal kocht, dat ook iets niet, boys. Niet dat ze keer dat pe o dat pe sin zit poto, dat je dat ook geen poort omhoog. Ga ik je het kast nog iets to maat. Ja, moet zijn nog iets ze mag ik tot squid zijn nog. Oh, toeja. Weet je, maar dat pe staan niet. Ja, moet ze dit zijn is top. Je moet ze en toch gaan moet ze. Mag ik dat zijn op ja. Nog iets is dat panista ja. Je moet ze net poquito pe mas no tatsikita pe tono chito anike ki doch kijk poa chito nesta isto to como es net kan nog sinas kito atan sta net se ni net to kito to ets no kito tats stach am khos sta pian kais to kanai ta anike kiki wa no kan nog sixten het agsi dat je nog ergens kiest ook iets gaat iets te qua musikocht ook je kan nog paar keer mooi piootje moet je ook kita spitsa pot keer iets in het kan nog paar kita kocht zo je kan is como chakatos en nog kita kan is toch paar ken na keer te peochtje me no kan nou ja mo eet te peochtje أنا خمو كان كتركنين مخكوتو تسكويتشان استخكنو يا مخو كتسيستونا بسيني أنتخمان استاباسيس أموسس كوس خستستا بس ماذا خسميك خدسكات ستوبايست مونيت ختاي ماذا خدسكات ستوب Na tu siota miskapisest kapi mada khutsikats tu penneni tsiko ni tskunata pini tsits kapi makapi tapi moses kosksta pisan kano kan kitsian kan motsokane iskane puits amanya acht genome tapisi tapi opia o tapi sin agurtits pomursi agitissino tsimia Otaki Piinaakoyim, kakatapian, okmataitsitapi johtsimiaitsa. Tässä puhua peitsi, pui tahkutsitu pienoin, niin suuta kohsin tästä mikä keitsi. Otaki pää piipui. Nyt se noksiinakseni maatsuukin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ronnie Scout Sr. I'm a Blood Tribe member. I'm very honored to be invited to this meeting in regards to the opiate crisis we have here on the Blood Indian Reserve. It's been 3 years since the community of Standoff elected me to be their president, to be their spokesperson for issues that are ongoing in the community of Standoff. Social issues, you name it, it's all there. It comes from the community. And my fellow community, Cardston, Moses Lake, Laverne, Old Agency, there's reps there too. But in these 3 years, I've been hearing grievances, concerns, and issues from my community. And I bring them forward to our leadership, the councillors that do attend our meetings. And they've been telling me, I relate back to them the next day, what became of the meeting there? And I tell them, well, okay, they took information there as to what you guys are telling me. I'm forwarding it. But the best way for you guys, for us to get results, if the community comes as in numbers, so they'll hear us, there'll be a voice. So anyways, I went to a meeting in Edmonton less than 2 weeks ago, and it was about the opiate crisis community meeting there. And it was very informative. Other reserves
across here in Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC are looking up to the Blood Tribe as to what we're doing, the initiatives that our leaders have made in regards to helping overcome this opiate crisis. They really look up to us there. So we've got people looking up to us, and I commend our leadership for having these services being provided to these opiate addicts, alcoholics, name it. There's addictions in many areas that were not spoken today there, but there is a lot of addictions, not just opiates and alcoholism. So, but I just wanted to say something. I said it in Edmonton at that meeting. What we are failing to really recognize in today's society, it affects every one of us in this room. And Perry Belgrade, the Assembly of Chiefs, I was talking to him on the phone for 4 or 5 years ago. And he told me, Ronnie, you know what's really affecting the crisis across reserves in Canada? I told him what? He says, it's called residential school syndrome. Our parents had it. We had it. Now our kids, I'm hoping that it stops, and that's what Perry Belgrade stops. From here on, so our kids don't get affected by this residential school syndrome. It just coincides with this opiate crisis epidemic that we had, almost 10 years ago. The weakness that we had in life now, our teachings, our traditional ways, we are losing them. Now, whoever came up with these opiates that brought them to North America, we were just innocent victims. We picked it up just like that. And our young people, like everybody have said, we've lost a number of people through this opiate crisis. So that's the number one culprit, is this residential school syndrome. The federal government have, put healing centers, call emergency centers for people to phone in to say this is how they feel. A lot of them don't get those numbers. I heard some people saying they're idle, some people, and they get caught up in it. That's what happens because they don't have the information to get a hold of this. This residential school, they have a great big, gigantic emergency call center to call with people that have issues. Myself, I called it once. All my aunties, uncles, I've lost several brothers, cousins. They're all gone, the elders. I have nobody to turn to in a time of need, in a time of crisis. So I called this residential school line and I talked to them. Oh, gee, these people are compassionate. They related to what I'm going through with this residential, our loss of culture, identity. They connected with me. And then, but I relied solely on my upbringing. Like I said, I mentioned my late grandfather, Laurie Plum, my grandmother, Minnie Plum. I was Kipitapuka. My grandfather, I wake up in the morning, I was 5 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old. Every morning he smudged. At night he smudged. Then I got to join the Beaver Bundles at the age of 13, and I picked up on it there. So that's what kind of saved me, like I incorporated religion into my life, my journey. And that's why I'm sitting here. Otherwise, if I didn't follow that road, I don't think I'd live past the age of 30. A lot of you know who I was when I was young. I was a redneck, hillbilly, outlaw towards the law. But somehow the Creator, this young guy mentioned the Creator. He came into my life because I was smudging. Back when I was a little boy, going back to a little boy when people had very few sources of transportation. They visit from right on the west end of the reserve, Fish Creek, where most of my relatives live. They come down this way, house to house. And most of the houses, they invite us to sleep over. We sleep over. In the mornings, the man or the woman in the house, they smudge. That's how everybody started their day off. Anyways, a week, 2 weeks, we visit, we go back home. 9 out of 10 households prayed and smudged our traditional ways. Today, it's 1 out of 10 households. So that's how much we've lost touch with our traditional ways, our traditional teachings. Our young people today, they're living like, white mans, for other races. They're living like that. They've lost our identity. Our traditional ways, I heard somebody saying, tough love. We don't have it today in standoff on a blood reserve. We don't have such a thing as tough love. I've heard of evictions there where parents are not using, but the kids are using. All the parents have to do is have tough love, kick these 2 kids out, 1 kid out, so this other parent will have a home for him and her and their remaining children. They'll still have a home. But as a result of not giving tough love, they let these kids, adult, teenage kids, remain in that house. And then what do? They get evicted as a whole. See, the tough love is... Back when I was young, my uncle kicked my ass if I did wrong, if I swear, which I never do. I don't swear today there. But if I did something wrong back then, my uncle picked me up on my pants and kicked the daylight out of me. My dad and my mom just sit there and watch. And all these things came back. I applied them to today. I park down the hill a lot of times. Most of you must see me. I'm not employed with any entity, any place, but I do my own thing with these addicts, young people, middle-aged people. I tell them, and they tell me, I lost my kids. How can I get them back? Go to detox. We got a detox. Go to treatment. We got a treatment, aftercare. When you go through all those, get a letter of references, bring them to this, what tribe, children's service, give it to them. They'll give you a chance to get your kids back. I've had several success stories that I did on my own in directing these people to go. But the number one thing I'll tell them to incorporate in their daily journeys and battles with addictions, incorporate religion. Ask the Creator. The word is Chipatapyo. If you can say just that one word, and the rest of you say it if you don't talk Blackfoot in English, but use the word Chipatapyo. And that has worked for a lot of people that have. And our language, we're losing it fast. We're losing it at I can't say the percentage of the language that we've lost. That's another key is our language, to restore it back. I suggested to some board members of Kainai Board of Education about our language, these schools we have. Implant some elders that are there in these schools to go in there and talk Blackfoot all day. A little kid will tell that elder, what does that mean? Say it. And they'll catch it, just like me when I was young. I grew up hearing Blackfoot. That's why I talk fluent in Blackfoot today there. So that's what I have to say in regards to this opiate crisis. And I'm really grateful that our leadership is taking initiatives to tackle this problem. I heard somebody saying it's not going to take overnight. It's going to take some due time. But I heard Floyd saying prayers. Prayers is all we got. So with that, I want to thank everybody for, listening to me. I could talk for hours and hours for the issues that are in my community. But this is the most important issue, this opiate crisis. And I'm glad our leadership is taking the steps and initiatives to try and minimize it, this opiate crisis. So with that, thank you very much, and have a safe journey home. Thank you.
I know that council and our respective managers, administrators, really appreciate the comments that have been made by Ronnie and the other two people. And thank you, Makiinaakoyim. I think he was the one who asked the representatives to be here. So we're beginning a process that will entail everybody's partnership. We need to collaborate with all of our people, with our departments, with our entities. And one of the things that we as leaders, the council, and those employees who work more so in this area, we know that we can provide some resources. We can provide resources to some of these initiatives, to some of these plans. But now we have a better idea on how to go about, how to involve our key representatives, our people from the communities, and as well to try and continue to work together. Some of their departments aren't really that specifically involved in trying to minimize the bad effects of these bad drugs on our people, but they care. They care, and they want to do their part. So I think if more people heard the comments that Ronnie and the other two gentlemen made, I think, we feel confident. We feel confident that our membership, that our members, Piinaakoyim, we feel confident that with the help that is there, whether it's organized or not, but that support that comes from the ground level, as expressed today, means a lot. It encourages us to continue. So we will try and do our part, and we look forward to working with everyone in trying to combat this crisis. We can find resources. We can come up with new programs, and we will continue to do what we can from that perspective. So thank you all very much. Of course, council, our staff, our representatives from our departments, our entities, and our community members, our elders, and everyone concerned. So I know that council, we want to continue with this momentum that we seem to be gaining. So let's continue and see what we can do together. Thank you all very much. Han.